Hey, what's going on, everyone? What's up? What's going on? Hope everyone is doing great. Your friend Dean Kulaweera here from Tech Recruiters 360 IT Recruiter every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time Zone. I'm right here to help you folks out with job search, recruitment, tips, advice, strategies, all that good stuff. So you can apply to your job search and succeed and win, or put yourself in a better position to succeed and win. Look, hope everyone's doing great. I just want to quickly check if my live stream is indeed live or if I'm just speaking to myself right now. Yeah, it looks like we are live. Okay, fantastic. So hey, folks, don't be shy. Make sure you let me know who you are in the comments and introduce yourself, especially if you're an IT professional. I want to know who you are and if there's any way I can help you in your job search. All right. Actually, let me just go real quick and go live on Instagram as well. So just bear with me for a few seconds here. I don't know, like something always happens when I try to go live on Instagram. So I don't know what's happening. I know that Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp was down. Was it yesterday or the day before? Yeah, and like a whole bunch of people were freaking out. So I don't know if it's something to do with that, but hey, it looks like I can go live on Instagram. But whatever, I have all of you good folks here with me. So shout out to everyone tuning in on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and I was gonna say Instagram, but having some issues with Instagram here. So today, what I'm going to be speaking about, folks, is rules for contacting recruiters on LinkedIn. If one of your major, um, I guess, issues or problems that you're experiencing right now as a job seeker is you're reaching out to recruiters on LinkedIn, maybe you're sending them a direct message, maybe they reached out to you and you're responding or something of that sort, but you're not able to get responses, you're not able to get correspondence. I'm going to be sharing with you today five rules, in my opinion, five rules you need to follow when you're communicating with, reaching out to, and especially when you're initiating contact with recruiters out there, right? So I'm going to be going over that. So if you're a note taker, you definitely want to be taking notes on today's session so you can make the most out of today's session. Looks like we got a really shy crowd today. So hey, don't be shy, folks. Look, if you're not seen in the comments, one of the by the way, for those of you who are job seekers, by the way, look, one of your greatest challenges as a job seeker is lack of visibility. People don't know you exist. People don't know who you are. So hey, don't be shy. Feel free to introduce yourself and say hi in the comments. Let us know who you are, where you're tuning in from, and network with each other, folks. Expand your network. Now's the best time to start expanding your network if you have not done so already. So if you are tuning in, hit me up with a like and share. Always appreciate those so others in your network can benefit from what I'm going to be speaking about today. So about a month ago, I'd say around probably around a month ago, I started and I launched my own recruitment agency, Tech Recruiters 360. You can see it on my little hat here. Got a branded hat, and I launched that about a month ago. And around 3 weeks ago, I landed my first client, which I'm really happy and excited about. So I've been recruiting on some active positions in the Greater Toronto area. And just this Monday or Tuesday, one of the particular roles I was recruiting on, it just reminded me of how much I love being a recruiter, and the real benefit of having a good recruiter on your side. So on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I was speaking with this great candidate, right, for this position I'm actively recruiting on right now. And anyway, I speak to them on the phone, spend about 15, 20, 25 minutes or so talking about them and their background. I was like, man, I got to get this candidate in front of my client ASAP. It's a great candidate, fantastic candidate. So I do my little write up. I attach the resume. I highlight the right stuff. I put in my notes from my conversation, and I send that off to my client, right? And within like an hour, my client gets back and they're like, Dean, we got to interview this person, right, like ASAP. Get their availability. These are our time slots. Get them in as soon as possible. Get back to the candidate, and let them know, like, hey, they want to interview you. They want to get you in front, get you in front of them, so they can have a chat with you. That an initial conversation. Had that scheduled for today itself. So it's going to be this afternoon. And look, the reason why I mentioned that is when you're able to present yourself really effectively to a recruiter, when you have a good recruiter on your side who has strong relationships with their clients, things can move pretty quick, folks. On Monday, I think it was Monday or two. I think it was Monday. On Monday, this company did not even know that this amazing candidate existed. Within an hour, got their resume in front of them, and within an hour, they got back and scheduled them for an interview today afternoon. So look, You got to be good in your communication with recruiters, right? Now, most of you watching this today, you're probably having some difficulties there getting the attention of recruiters when you're reaching out to recruiters. So I wanted to use that example as a transition point as to why you should get good at this. Because look, if you establish yourself as a great candidate for a position, and look, I'm not saying that this is going to happen 100% of the time. Like, things are not going to move this smoothly and this fast 100% of the time. But when it is, I mean, it's great because it just cuts out a lot of effort on your part, because there's a great mutual fit and the recruiter is going to get you in front of their client, right? But that's not going to happen if your communication is not on point. And again, a lot of you who are reaching out to recruiters on LinkedIn, this is an area that some of you might need improvement in. So we got some shout outs here. We got Arjun, my friend Arjun in the house. Hey, Arjun says, congratulations on your venture, Dean. Hey, I really appreciate that, Arjun. Really, really appreciate that. Folks, if you're an international student, okay, if you're an international student, Arjun is the founder of an amazing organization called Fellow International Students. Now, most international students here in Canada, they already know about this amazing group that Arjun heads. But if you have not heard of them, you want to get involved. They host some amazing events. I've spoken at one of their events, where there was like hundreds of people, and just such a great community to be a part of. So if you're an international student watching this, get in touch with Arjun ASAP for more information on how you can get involved. It's a great group to be a part of. All right. So hope you're doing well, Arjun. Always great to see you, my friend. Always appreciate the support. Hope you're doing great as well. We got my friend Ryan in the house. Ryan says, hi, Dean. Happy to hear on your new business venture. Hey, really appreciate that, Ryan. Good to see you and hope you're doing well. And really appreciate the feedback. So Mohit says, hi, Dean. I was a network field technician. Right now, I'm not working anywhere but learning the network stuff. I want to grow more in the IT industry as I have great interest in networking. Please let me know if you can help me. That would be great. Yeah, Mohit, so send me a private message. Let me know more about your situation and what you bring to the table. And I'm happy to see if I can help you, my friend. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. So today's session, folks, 5 rules for reaching out to recruiters on LinkedIn. All right. Now be prepared to take notes if you're taking notes. I'm drinking my lemon water. I got a little bit of a sore throat. I got some tonsillitis, but I made the commitment to show up today to help you folks out in your job search. Right. So I might not keep this session very long because I want to give a rest to my throat or whatever, because I'm also presenting to a college this evening at 7:00. I was invited by my friend Jason Prine. I'm going to be speaking to his class of business analysts. So I want to save my throat a little bit. So I'm not going to talk too much today, but I'm going to share with you 5 rules that you want to be abiding by when you're reaching out to recruiters. All right. So rule number 1, folks, this is extremely important. Rule number 1. When you are initiating contact with the recruiters, okay. Now, what I'm talking about here is when you're reaching out to recruiters, when you're introducing yourself, you're like, hey, my name is so and so. Here's my resume. Whatever it is, like if you are reaching out to a recruiter on LinkedIn and you're attaching your resume, rule number 1, folks, very, very important rule. It's no coincidence I made this rule number 1 because I see so many people violating this rule. Rule number 1, always assume, always assume, folks. Always assume the recruiter will not download your resume. Listen to what I'm saying, folks. This is extremely important. When you're reaching out to a recruiter on LinkedIn, you're attaching your resume. I don't care how great and amazing your resume is. Always assume the recruiter will not download your resume. They're not going to click on it, save as, download. Always assume that. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, because the first thing the recruiter is going to look at is, because you are reaching out to them on LinkedIn, right? Obviously, they're going to assume that the easiest thing or the simplest thing for them to do is, instead of downloading your resume, is to simply look at your LinkedIn profile. Now, here's the problem. Here's the mistake so many of you make. Your LinkedIn profile does not accurately reflect what is on your resume. This is the mistake I've seen just this week. Like 2-3 times I have seen this happen, folks. Like I remember, I think it was on Monday or was it yesterday? I had someone reach out to me, right? And they're like, hey, Dean, I know you're recruiting on such and such role. Or actually, no, it wasn't on a specific role, but they were like, hey, Dean, I'm on the market right now. I'm looking for front-end development roles or something like that. Here's my resume, right? And take a look at it. So I took the message, and this is someone, by the way, who I'm familiar with. Like they usually interact with me on LinkedIn. But first thing I did is I did not download the resume, right? Because the first thing I did is I'm going to look at their LinkedIn profile. Why? Because, well, if they reached out to me on LinkedIn, obviously I'm going to assume that their LinkedIn profile is detailed, it's all set, and it's all good. So I went to their profile, and on their profile it shows minimal experience in their skill set. So I responded to them, and I'm like, look, reach out to me after you generated at least 3+ years of professional experience as a recruiter. I mostly recruit on positions that are intermediate to senior level and up. So just get back to me when you have more years of experience. And then they responded, and they're like, Dean, I'm an intermediate person. Like, I have intermediate level experience. Now that's when out of curiosity, I opened up this person's resume, and I see that yes, they do have intermediate level experience, but that is not reflected on the LinkedIn profile. Now, the only reason I actually downloaded and checked this person's resume is because this person always shows me a whole bunch of support on LinkedIn. They're always liking my stuff. They're always commenting on my posts. They're always tuning into my live streams. So I took the time to actually download the resume and look at it. But not everyone out there is going to do that, folks. Listen to what I'm saying. Not everyone out there is going to do that. The first thing, if you reach out to someone on LinkedIn, the first thing, the most simplest thing that for them, the easiest thing for them to do is check your LinkedIn profile. Now, if your LinkedIn profile does not reflect what's on your resume, that is a problem, because now they're not even going to bother downloading your resume at all, right? And your LinkedIn profile is not doing justice to your experience, right? So you got to make sure, always assume, always go into this assumption. Okay, if you're taking notes, you want to definitely write this down again. I know I'm saying that for like the third or fourth time, but it's very important. No matter how great your resume is, if you are communicating, if you're contacting someone on LinkedIn, make sure your LinkedIn profile is spick and span. It's detailed. It's got the right information. It's filled out, and you've listed out your positions that you have professional experience with. If you're a new grad, you're talking about your projects and all that good stuff. But the point here is, you got to assume that the person you're sending your resume to is not going to go through the efforts of downloading your resume. Folks, recruiters spend most of their time speaking to people. We don't have time to be clicking on things and downloading things all day long. If we did that, we'd be clicking and downloading all day long, okay? Because we get a lot of messages, we get a lot of communication on LinkedIn. So your LinkedIn profile is your chance to get the attention of the recruiter and make them want to be like, hey, you know what? I want to check this person out in more detail. Let me go back to the message and actually download their resume. So your LinkedIn profile is like a hook, right? It's like a hook. It's like a sampling. Like it's gotta reel people in. It's gotta get their attention, so they want to actually go in and download your resume. But always make the assumption that despite the fact that you are sending and attaching your resume to someone on LinkedIn, always assume they're not going to download your resume right away. They're first going to go to your LinkedIn profile. So that's rule number one, folks. Always assume they're going to check out your LinkedIn profile first before downloading your resume. So make sure your LinkedIn profile is spick and span. It's detailed. You put in the time and effort into your LinkedIn profile. All right. Now, rule number two, avoid copy and paste messages, which are obviously copy and paste messages. I get these messages every week, folks, and it's just, folks, you got to stop doing this, all right? When I say copy and paste, I'm not saying don't have a template and paste the place that you use that's effective with recruiters. Look, I get it. You want to save time. Maybe there's some template you use that is copy and paste. What I'm saying here is try and make it not obvious that you simply copy and pasted some standard generic message. I've got a few messages this week where it was like, "Hey Dean, I'm interested in the QA role you're recruiting on. Hey Dean, I'm interested in the software developer role you're recruiting on. But here's the problem: I'm not recruiting on any QA roles. I'm not recruiting on any software development roles. I have not posted any such positions. So what that tells me is this is just some general message, and also, by the way, the message does not contain much detail, which I'm going to get into in a bit. But in those situations, it's just a turnoff for the recruiter, because it's like, okay, this person's randomly messaging this same message to who knows how many people. They're probably desperate, and they're probably having some issues with selling them. Maybe they're not even a good quality candidate, right? These are the assumptions the recruiter or whoever it is you're reaching out to is going to make. And I don't want people making those assumptions about you, folks. So if you're going to do a copy and paste, that's fine. I get it. It's a time saver. I totally get it. Sometimes I might do that myself as a recruiter, right? But I'm going to copy and paste the message, and then I'm going to customize it to the person that I'm reaching out to. That's what you got to be doing. That's a smart way to use copy and paste templates. But look, if you're sending out to someone, if you're sending out to a recruiter, and the recruiter is not even recruiting on some position, and you're saying, "Hey, I'm messaging you in regards to the QA position or this position or that position," and it's not even the case with the recruiter, it's just going to reflect badly on you, and the recruiter might just ignore your message and be like, "Oh, They're probably just reaching out to a whole bunch of people anyway, and it's not gonna affect them anyway if I just don't respond and I just move on to some other candidate or some other message. All right, so that's rule number 2, folks. Don't If you are copying and pasting, customize your message. Make sure it's relevant to the person you're reaching out to, especially recruiters, right? Do not copy and paste some message that says you're reaching out about some job or some position when in fact the recruiter has not even posted anything of that sorts at all. Now, rule number 3 is address by name. Address the recruiter by name. Now, this might apply to North America, okay? Other countries, other regions, maybe you might want to ignore this advice. But here in North America, when you're reaching out to people, it's a first name basis over here. At least here in North America, okay? I'm talking about Canada, America, US, right? It's usually a first name basis. Hi, Dean. Hello, Dean. Hey, how's it going, Dean? Greetings, Dean. Whatever. Salutations, Dean. If you want to be fancy, you got to be using the first name, right? Now, occasionally, and actually, I think at least once this week so far, I've gotten a message that says "Dear Recruiter," or "Hi Recruiter," or something like that. And this is a terrible message to send. At least here in Canada and the US, folks, right? If you're gonna send a message to someone, address them by their first name. Again, this applies to North America. If you're outside of North America, then maybe you got to look at the local culture and local customs in your region. What I'm talking about here is applying to North America. Avoid using "Hello Recruiter" or "Dear Recruiter." It just shows a lack of effort into really connecting with the person you're trying to reach out to, right? So if you're reaching out to me, say, "Hey, hi Dean," or "Hey Dean," or "Dear Dean," or "Good morning Dean," "Good afternoon Dean," "Good evening Dean." You want to use my first name when you're reaching out. That is rule number 3. And the other thing is something else I've noticed a few times actually. Okay, I don't know if this is a mistake. I don't know if this is some kind of a typo or something like that. It's probably not a typo, but I find a lot of people, some of you out there, you're addressing people only by their last name. So in my case, my full name is Dean Kulaweera. I got people reaching out to me saying, "Hey, hi Kulaweera," like just using my last name, right? Or "Dear Kulaweera," or "Hi Kulaweera," or "Good morning Kulaweera," right? That is not normal here in North America, folks. At least here in North America. I can't speak for other regions, other parts of the world, but here it's kind of strange. Like it's really weird and strange when someone only uses your last name. If you're gonna use a last name, use Mr., Mrs., or Miss, right? So maybe "Hi, Mr. Kulaweera," or Good morning, Mr. Kulaweera," or something like that. Now, side note again, I do not expect anyone to call me Mr. Okay, that's not what I'm saying here. I mean, the normal thing to do here is address me by my first name. But the point I'm trying to make here is there's this strange thing where some people out there are only using the last name. So the point I'm trying to make here is if you're going to use a last name, you should precede it with Mr., Miss, or Mrs., or something like that. But the norm in North America is just first name basis. All right. Hey, we got my friend Sneha in the house. Hey, Sneha, good to have you here. So good to have you here. And Sneha moved out to Yukon. She's all the way in Yukon, recruiting out there. So hey, I hope you're doing great, Sneha, and great to see see you on the stream. All right, hope you're doing great. Hope you're doing well. So that is rule number 3, folks. Look, address on a first name basis. If you want to use a last name, precede the last name with Mr., Mrs., or Miss, or something of that sort. Do not only use the last name. It's considered weird and in some cases impolite, at least here in North America. Like the only time I ever hear people only use someone's last name is like, sports coaches, right? Basketball coaches or baseball coaches or something like that. "Hey, Kulaweera, come here. What are you doing? Or, that kind of thing, right? So if you're going to address someone by last name, if you're going to address a recruiter by last name, precede it with a Mr. or Miss or Mrs. But if not, the normal thing here in North America, folks, is just first name basis. And do not use "Dear Recruiter" or "Hi Recruiter" or something like that. It's just really weird. It's considered really weird, okay? Now, rule number 4. Let's move on to rule number 4, right? Be specific about who you are and what you bring to the table. No generic messages. Okay, like there's this strange thing where people reach out to me, and I get these kind of messages all the time during the week. "Hey, Dean, I'm an IT professional. I'm looking for work in IT. Hope you can help me. Let me know if you have anything for me." Folks, I'm not Sherlock Holmes. Okay, do not assume that I'm gonna go to your LinkedIn profile because of some generic message you sent. Okay, you're not a crime scene, and I'm not Sherlock Holmes. You got to be specific about who you are and what you bring to the table. Okay, always assume the person reading your message is lazy. Always assume this. This is something I always assume as a recruiter. When I'm reaching out to candidates, I try to make it as I try to be as specific as possible, and I try to make it as easy as possible for the candidate to determine whether or not they want to get in communication with me. And you got to do the same thing, folks, when you're reaching out to recruiters. Always assume that the recruiter is not going to look at your resume and maybe even not even look at your LinkedIn profile. So what does that mean? That means your message, the message itself should be specific and it should be attention grabbing. If you're an IT professional, do not say, hey, I'm an IT professional, I'm looking for IT opportunities, let me know what you have. Folks, there are hundreds and hundreds of potential IT opportunities out there. There's so many verticals within IT, and it's just so generic for someone to mention, hey, I'm looking for IT opportunities, let me know if you have anything for IT. Yes, I do have yes, I do have stuff in IT, folks. But what specific categories are you looking for? Always assume that I'm not going to even look at your LinkedIn profile. The message itself is extremely important. So if you're reaching out, say, hey, Dean, I'm a systems administrator. I'm currently looking for senior level systems admin roles. Such and such and such are the infrastructures and technologies and environments that I've been working on. Now, if you put a message like that, high chances I'm actually going to go to your LinkedIn profile. High chances I might even open up your resume. So make sure your message is specific. You're being specific about who you are, what you bring to the table, and the type of roles you're looking for. Do not assume that the person you're messaging is going to actually go to your LinkedIn profile, or let alone open up your resume. Recruiters are not sitting at their desk all day long, folks, looking, just waiting, crossing their fingers, waiting for messages and waiting for emails and waiting for LinkedIn messages. That is not what recruiters do. 95% of a recruiter's time is spent on the phone speaking to people, folks. So if a recruiter has your email in front of them or has your LinkedIn message in front of them, you only have a few seconds to get their attention. So from now on, folks, rule. This is a standard rule. All of you should stick by. No more generic messages. Be specific. Be specific about who you are, what you bring to the table, what skills you have, and what positions you're applying for. That is what's going to get the attention of the recruiter. We don't have time to investigate and try to figure out who you are, what you want, and why you're reaching out and all that stuff. All right. So that's rule number 4. Be specific about who you are, what skills you have, and what positions you're looking for. Make it as easy as possible for the recruiter within a few seconds to determine whether or not they can help you. Okay. Okay. Now moving on to rule number 5. Rule number 5. This is so important because I see people make this mistake all the time. Get to the point with, and this is, by the way, this is specifically with recruiters. Okay. If you're reaching out to recruiters on LinkedIn, get to the point as soon as possible, folks. Small talk, trying to build rapport, talking about the weather, asking how are you, and not writing anything else. It's not going to go anywhere. Again, this goes back to what I mentioned in the previous point. Recruiters are not just sitting there just waiting to chat with people. The most proactive thing a recruiter can do is speak with a candidate on the phone. That is what majority of the time recruiters are doing. They're speaking to people on the phone. They don't have time to go back and forth. This is not WhatsApp, folks. LinkedIn is not WhatsApp where you're like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? How's it going? No, you got to write complete messages on LinkedIn, okay? Because recruiters do not have time to go back and forth with you just to figure out what you want, why you're reaching out, what skills you have, what position you're looking for. Recruiters do not have time. The only exception to that is if it's someone that you know really well. If it's a recruiter you're friends with, maybe you've known them for a while, then hey, I totally get it. Like I get those messages from people I've known for a while all the time, right? They reach out to me, they're like, hey, Dean, haven't chatted in a while. How you doing? How's it going? I will respond to those because these are people I know over a long period of time. So obviously I've built a relationship with them. I consider them my friends. And yes, I will engage in small talk and chit chat and stuff like that. But if this is a recruiter you don't know, this is your first time reaching out, or you recently connected with them on LinkedIn, write a complete message, folks. Don't say, hey, Dean, how are you? Or hey, Dean, how's it going? Do not try to do the whole small talk thing right off the bat. Write a complete message. Assume that you have to get this recruiter's attention so you can get into real communication with them, okay? The small talk stuff, hey, let that happen organically. That will happen as you build a relationship, okay? That's going to happen naturally over the course of your relationship with the recruiter. But right now, this is a new relationship. You just recently got in contact with the recruiter. You got to make sure that you're getting their attention. You're showcasing your skill set. You're letting them know what you're actively looking for, what positions you're looking for. So that way, within a few split seconds, the recruiter knows, okay, wow, this person let me know all the information I need to know within a few seconds. So I can decide, yes, I can help them right now, or no, I can't help them at this point at all. Right. And if it's a yes, then hey, guess what? The recruiter is going to get in communication with you as soon as possible, maybe even get on a phone call with you so you can continue the conversation and continue building the relationship, right? So look, those are the 5 rules, folks. 5 rules for contacting recruiters on LinkedIn. Just a quick review of those rules. Now, rule number 1: assume your resume will not be downloaded. So because of that, you got to make sure your LinkedIn profile is detailed, it's filled out. Just because you send a LinkedIn message to a recruiter on LinkedIn attaching your resume does not mean that they're going to download it. Always assume they're going to first look at your LinkedIn profile. So make sure your LinkedIn profile is well filled out, properly filled out, detailed, and very appealing, right? Rule number 2: avoid copy and pasting messages that look obviously copy and pasted. Customize. If you're using some template, that's fine. I totally understand. I totally get that. But if you're going to use a template that you copy and paste, make sure you customize it for the people you're reaching out to. In the context of today's stream, recruiters, all right? You got to make sure that you're actually customizing it. Do not write, hey Dean, I'm reaching out about the software developer role. And meanwhile, I'm not even recruiting on a software developer role. It's just kind of weird, right? And it's just obvious. It's just too obvious that you just copied and pasted this message. Rule number 3: address the recruiter by name, by first name. Here in North America, okay, this applies mostly to North America. Address the recruiter by first name. Do not use dear recruiter. Do not use hi recruiter. Good morning recruiter. It's just weird. It's just really weird and strange, right? If you're a recruiter in North America and someone reaches out to you with dear recruiter or hi recruiter, it's just really weird and strange and kind of awkward too. So use first name basis. Rule number 4: be specific about who you are, what skills you bring to the table, and what positions you're looking for. Assume that if your message is not specific, that the recruiter is not even going to bother looking at your LinkedIn profile, let alone downloading your resume. So be specific about who you are, what skills you bring to the table, what positions you're looking for. And rule number 5, folks: get to the point. Get to the point, especially if it's a new relationship with this recruiter. This is your first time reaching out to the recruiter. Write a complete message. Simply writing, hey, Dean, how's it going? Or hey, good morning, Dean. How are you doing? Or hey, Dean, how's the weather out there? I don't have time for most recruiters, folks, do not have time for this chit chat, for the small talk and the chit chat, unless it's a long-term established relationship where they know you and you're almost like friends. That's a different story. But other than that, you want to get to the point with recruiters. You got to get straight to the point with recruiters and be clear about what you want, what your attention is, what you need from them, what you bring to the table, what positions you're looking for. All right. So that's today's 5 rules, folks. Look, implement this, apply this to your job search when you're reaching out to recruiters and initiating that communication. And real quick before you go, if you're an IT professional in the Greater Toronto area, definitely make sure you get in contact with me. I'm currently recruiting on a couple of roles right now. Currently looking for a technical analyst. This has to be someone very strong with Office 365 knowledge and expertise. Also looking for a professional services consultant. This is someone who comes from a networking background, a highly technical, network engineer, network analyst who is now more so into a pre-sales solutions consultant type of position. So if that sounds like you, make sure you reach out. And I'm also looking for 2 senior level IT sales account managers. This has to be salespeople who have been selling enterprise level IT solutions to large customers. All right. So look, if this sounds like you, these are full-time positions. Sorry, folks, no sponsorship. No, I can't consider candidates outside of Canada at this time for these. So if this sounds like you, or even if none of these roles sound like you, if you're an IT professional in Canada, in the Greater Toronto area, for sure, I want to know you. I want to get to know you. I want to know about your skills, what you bring to the table, and your career goals, and what you're looking for at this point in your career, so I can see if I can help you at some point. If not immediately, folks, let's think long-term, right? Let's build a long-term relationship. So if you're an IT professional in the Greater Toronto area watching this, let's get in touch. Let's get in communication. Send me a direct message. Let's get in contact. Let me see if I can help you, if not immediately, at some point in the short term or even in the long term. All right. So that's it for today. If you found today's session helpful, hit me up with a like and share. I'm going to end the session shortly, folks. So if you have any questions, let me know. I just want to give my throat a rest because I do have some slight tonsillitis. And I'm going to be presenting to, I think it's UOIT or something like that this evening. So I want to give my voice a break. Let me see if there's any other questions here. So we got oh, Madhu, how's it going? Good to see you, my friend. Oh wow, it's been a long time. Madhu says, hey Dean, been a long time since I've been on your live sessions. Good to see you. Hey, good to see you as well, my friend. Hope you're doing great. Hope you're doing fantastic. All right. So looks like there's no more other questions. Hit me up with a like, folks, and really appreciate the likes and the reshares. And tune in every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time zone. I'm right here to help you folks out with job search tips, advice, strategies, and practical stuff that you can actually apply to your job search. All right. So hey, keep pushing through, folks. Stay positive. Don't give up. And make sure you utilize today's rules in your communication with recruiters. All right. Hey, have a great day and keep it moving, folks. Stay proactive and keep taking action. All right. Take care.